Good morning, welcome. It is 10:34 a.m. We're running slightly late. It is Sunday morning, which means it is time for Sunday Club, a weekly Ruby on Rails live stream where each week we build a little section of a Ruby on Rails application. And at the moment we are working on an application where it's a ticketing, an event registration and ticketing application, which is super exciting. And if you are interested, we have also worked on another application in the past, and you can find all of those episodes in the YouTube channel archives. So if you just Google Sunday Club, SUNDAE Club, you will find those videos. If you wonder why I'm looking down, it's because I'm trying to get my phone charger plugged in. All right, I don't think there's any follow-up. I think we're just picking up straight where we left off last week. And it's ViewComponent time. Let's just dive straight in. No, we're going to do no... Okay, well, apparently we've got dropped frames already. I'm getting notifications about dropped frames, so that sounds not good. Have I got speed problems once again? Oh my god, this is becoming a weekly issue. And I have a super fast internet connection normally. I don't know what's going on, but let's just see what was happening. Let's see if we can get the bottom of what's happening. Yeah, I'm just checking the stream, and apparently I can see myself visually dropping frames, which is okay. There's something going on. I'm gonna just try and restart this. I'm gonna see if I can pop this on hold. So bear with me for a second. Sorry about this. Be right back. Okay, I think we are back. Let me just check. I think we are back. And I apologize for the disruption, but I have learned how to go and reset all of my home network without having to lose the YouTube URL. At least I think I have. Let me just check that that's now happening. Yeah, okay, great. All right, I keep an eye on it, and hopefully we can carry on. All right, let's do some Rails. God, that was very frustrating. What is it about my internet connection on Sunday mornings? It's like the one time I actually need it. Why doesn't it go wrong at work during the week? I don't know what happens. All right. Like I said, no follow-up, just a fully broken internet connection. Let me mark all of these notifications about the thing as red. So hopefully now we are just streaming away. Great. All right. ViewComponent. Let's get into it. So we did a prototype many moons ago, and we used ViewComponent for it. We looked at this at the end of last week's stream, and I know that because I had forgotten what we were going to do this week, and I checked on last week's stream. So we weren't prototyping whether or not we should use ViewComponent. We were prototyping how to kind of build the checkout, ticket purchasing, like structuring group purchases, all of that stuff. However, what came as part of that was trying out the use of ViewComponent. I also can't hear any music, so I think the music might have crept out. So, oh no, it's still there. It's just, there we go. It's still there. Okay, fine. Everything's going wrong this morning. I don't know why. All right. So we have some components and some very rough naming just to see how things work. But as I pointed out at the end of last week's stream, we weren't using active record objects at this point. We never actually built any models for the prototype. We were just passing around kind of quickly made data structures. I don't even know if we actually built any dummy models. We sort of were doing it in the view. So if we go into this view here, for example, you can see that in order to render this component, which is a view component, rather than sort of passing it a list of events, we had to say, well, it renders a list of event items or event list items. And good morning in the chat. It's nice to see that this stream is finally back working. I think I'm genuinely like, I tried to rage you, but it didn't work. Oh, I don't 100% know what that means. I think it's a good thing, but I'm not 1,000,000% sure what it means. Does it mean that you send people here? You send people here on Twitch? I think it's a good thing. I hope it's a good thing. If it's a bad thing, I don't like it. All right. So now that we have our this kind of prototype stuff, what we're going to do is, now that we have models in the other app, we can use those. So basically this could become, like we were talking about last week. Actually, I don't know because I've never done it, because this was my first time in ViewComponent. I think we can do, I don't even know if you need to do this, but this could become something like that. I don't even know if you need to have this child component in here. But let's go find it. Yeah, it's a good thing. Okay, okay, good. In that case, I really appreciate it. In that case, and it's also, I'm sorry that it didn't work. So I'm sad about that. Sorry, that is my Twitch knowledge being anyone who has watched this consistently. All of these previous streams are on YouTube, which I sort of understand a bit more, but mainly just because there's like a history of all the streams there that I can see. All right, okay. Let's so literally we're starting from basics. So let's go get the gem installed. I don't need this one. We can cancel this for a bit. Okay. So let's get this nice and large. Right, we've done this before. I think this might be the third time on this stream that we have installed the view component gem, and I think it was pretty straightforward. But I'm also aware that it's the third time we've installed this gem, and every time that we do it, I forget how it works. I super appreciate that. My one viewer is often me as well. Rails view component. All right. So if we've done this before, what did I leave off before? I think yeah. Okay. So yeah, the installation stuff isn't in the README. It's in here somewhere. Getting started probably. All right, so gem view component. That's good. We like that. and there was like a... Oh, right. Yeah, we talked about these generators. Okay, so let's just run bundle install, get that up and running. Oh man, yeah, I don't know. Like running around resetting all of the internet this morning because it went down. I'm so unfit that's genuinely like the most exercise. I've joined a gym, but this is the most exercise I've done in ages, and it like it's not good. Cool. So that is installed. Let's get branch started as well. We can just put in. I don't know quite how far we're going to get, so let's just put add view component in here. And we have got that up and running. So one thing that I did do from last week is I don't know what it was. I think there's something to do with keyframes. I'm not 100% sure what keyframe is either, but I adjusted the settings. So I think that fixes something on YouTube. I think there was some sort of issue when viewing this on YouTube, but I think I fixed that as well. So let's just do whip commits for now. So we'll just do add gem. Great, okay. And so what we had in the docs, let's make this font a bit bigger, is this idea of some generators. And I think we started on this a couple times where we... Yeah, I think we read the generators page because you can say like generate RSpec tests rather than mini tests. Generate a preview, that's pretty cool. I don't know exactly what that is. Yeah, and then I remember, because we were doing this really recently because I decided not, we went and did something else in the admin area either. Thank you so much for dropping by. I super appreciate it. So sidecar is either the one I want or not the one I want. And I think it's that it creates the folder with the component name to place the... actual component in. So if you look here, we've got create app components, example component HTML. Here we've got app components, example component HTML. But it's only the view that goes in a sidecar. And what we ended up in the prototype, I think, was not using that, but we actually went even further the other way, and I think pulled the Sass file in line. So everything, so 1, 2, for that one, 1, 2, 3 for that one, because it's got Sass. So I think you might end up with 3 files for each component if you want Sass in there as well. But I think you wouldn't put your corresponding stimulus controller in there, I'm guessing. Where is it putting? Oh, it is doing that actually. Test components, example component controller JS. So you can end up with 3 or 4 files per view component. You would really want them in subdirectories at that point. Let's say you end up with hundreds of components. That directory is just going to get so full. This I think is one of the key things about using third-party gems is like your usage of it when you're doing 1, 2, or 3 is going to be so different from when you've got 200 of the thing. And it's not always obvious when you start whether you're going to use it once, twice, or 500 times. An example of that, I mentioned this last week, was I've been doing some work to extract paperclip from an app and switch it over to active storage. And just some decisions I made up front. I had used paperclip in the past, but I just did sort of the quickest thing to get it out the door, and like sizing and resizing and making different versions of images. And that's what paperclip does. It's like an image file up. Storage gem thing, and then in having to move it all over to active storage, which is like really I mean it's kind of the Rails normal thing where it's like just do the default way, and moving off the default is kind of more work potentially. Because I had done each one differently, the work to actually move over and get them all back in line was so like I'm still doing it basically. But it just sort of wasn't obvious I was creating that overhead. Or I guess I knew in the back of my mind. But it is something that I think about when obviously I'm using a new gem or doing something, and I try to think about like, do I not have enough information to make a call right now anyway? So I'm just going to plow ahead and figure it out later. Do I know that I'm doing something to get out of the door quickly, and I'm just going to like write an apologetic commit message or something like that? Am I going to do the due diligence to try and work out whether I can do one or like, you know, something to make my life easier? Or am I going to do the good thing and like move to another gem or move to another system? So those are things that I think about when using a new gem or trying something new that might not scale well. So in this case, I don't think I know. Like genuinely, I haven't done the diligence to go and find an app that's using ViewComponent at scale. Maybe that apps using ViewComponent. If I could barely spell it. I think we Googled this last time. Let's add Rails in there. Let's see who is advanced ViewComponent patterns. Oh, so I know that large apps are building with ViewComponent. Like I think GitHub uses it pretty extensively, as I understand it, but I don't have access to their code base, so I don't really know what it looks like. Oh, cool. We should. Ah, cool. Look. Oh my God. We're in the YouTube, the Google results for ViewComponent. That's pretty cool. Well, for a very specific, very specific version of it. Advanced patterns. It's like what's the one that's not GitHub? That's Git. Is it GitLab? That's open source. Are they doing any of this stuff? I don't even know how we would know. There'd be a components directory in here, I guess. No, it doesn't look like it. That was a random hope. What about, is it forum? That's a big. They run dev.to thing. Okay, they've got a folder called components. They don't use it very aggressively. But this is only 3 months ago. Are they starting a transition to it, perhaps? These are all in like one big commit. that kind of commit message you like doesn't give any real context. What about the other one? Holy shit. All in one commit? Wait, what? Is that linked to a PR that at least has more? So they are looking to move into ViewComponent. This might be something that, okay, so this is maybe useful for people looking at this. Oh, man. I'm just gonna look, how big is that commit? That pull request. 102 commits? How was anyone able to review this? I think I've missed. Maybe there's something going on there. Maybe that's like an amalgamation. Oh my God. This is a glimpse into other people's lives. Like, if I have to review a commit, I get pretty grumpy when it's over like a certain number of commits. Like, I can't follow the narrative of this. Okay, okay, we're backing out of that. But they're moving to it. Maybe that's an example of stuff we can use as at scale. Let's go find out ourselves. Let's just go build some components. Right. Generators. We want our spec. Where's that? Generate a preview. Sort of interested in the preview option. you have to maintain, is it like a mailer preview, but you have to maintain the data, like a dummy data in that as well as the views? Sounds pretty cool though. Use inline rendering, no template file. That sounds pretty attractive as well. No, you lose all of the fun stuff. Okay, no, that's just for certain types of things. Okay. Great, okay, so let's do this. I don't know what happened there. I don't think I copied it properly. Copy. Right, okay. So test framework last week. Let's do that preview thing as well. Let's do dash preview. Okay. We can go and try this out. So we mentioned this previously. So did that actually maybe that forum one is useful. Are they namespacing stuff in here? Because they're in admin. We've got components, admin, users, tools, tool components. If we go into the tools component, are they just namespacing? Yeah, so module admin, module users. Okay, so I think we're going to do the same thing here. We are going to try and just going to check the stream again because I'm paranoid. Yeah, I think we're good. So we are going to have can we do that with like this? Can we do admin events? And that creates a namespace for us. And what are we going to build first? Let's build the ability to have, let's just put an event. So can we just put, oh, maybe it'd be like a little, it's like the thing that you click on. It's like the thing that you put in a list. So it'd be event list item, I think was the name we came up with previously, wasn't it? Which isn't always great because you don't have, didn't they have the ability to have variations? Let's call this admin. Oh, and they've got component in the end. Do these ones have component in the end? Yes, okay. So let's try admin event. Event list item component. It's real long. Component. And what have they got? They have name, don't they? Oh, is that params? Is that just event? Can we just pass in the whole event, or do we need to pass in the attributes individually? All right, let's go and take a look. View components in practice. Right, okay, so I'm just skimming this best practice thing, and I think already I might be doing it wrong by creating something that single use. But I'm guessing that this is gonna like pull in a section component and pull in a. This is gonna use other components, I'm guessing. Pass an object instead of 3 plus object attributes. Okay, that's actually what I was looking for. So yes, I want to pass in an event. All right, let's see what that does. Method missing undefined view component for Rails application. Wait, what? Right, let's move that off the screen because that's the prototyping one. We can just pop that down here for now. We installed view component. Generated 2 files, but then it failed out on the preview. Undefined method view. Oh, okay. Let's go and read the preview. Was just a bit of a previews. Here we go. ViewComponent preview, like Action Mailer preview, provides a quick way to provide preview components in isolation. For a more interactive experience, consider using ViewComponent Storybook, which I'm into because I've used Storybook for React and it's pretty good. How? See this for documentation. Okay. You know what? Let's just ditch the preview stuff. I'm just skimming through this. I'm like, knowing how much work it is to maintain all that stuff, it's not something that we're gonna do the legwork for now. So let's just discard these for now. Run that again without the preview. So if we just run this, great. Then we get what we expect. And let's go. Actually, let's bring the prototype work back, because what did we have to do to get those SAS files in line? I remember having to do it. Let's go and take a quick look. Was it in sort of config somewhere? I don't think anything here got committed, so I think it's right. Yeah, I think it was this import all was added that went and found all of the .scss files that ended with _component in that directory. Okay. Not 100% sure how we're doing JavaScript in the new app, so we can kind of come to that later. Okay, fine. Okay, be gone again. Prototype app. You can stay back on my other screen. Cool. So now we have our first component. A test file for it. A view file for it. And I think that we can render it out as well. And my CPU is going crazy. What's happening? Okay, so add admin events template here. And we can go into app views admin index. We can do render. And I'm checking the prototype app on the other screen because I can't remember how to do this. And then you pass in the name of your thing. New, so it should be this. New. So if we then fire up this, and as usual, I doubt we are. Oh, it's like a Sunday club, isn't it? Where did... Oh no, we didn't have any styling, did we? It was just a little bigger. And probably want... Oh, I don't know what I've done there. Can close this one. I don't want this one open. I don't know how to do that. There we go. Nope. And we user.last. And we need to pass in an event. And can we pass in? Oh, we don't have any events, do we? We just pass in event.new. Oh, it has to be named. Okay, great. Add admin events list template here, which is what the template says. Amazing. So we not only do we have our first view component, it is also being rendered out. Amazing. Okay. So let's put the event title in there. And do we have any events in the system? Oh, we have 3. Okay, great. And are they for the crit? So if we do user equals user.last, let's go and get the user that we're signed in as, and say user.organization membership.first.organization. Oh, sorry, memberships. Yep, so dot events, so we're checking. Oh, and okay, great. So if we, so the organization we're signed into has events, so we can. Let me put this thing on, make it easier to see what I'm. There we go. So we can then go to our controller, admin events controller index, and we can say at events equals events, and there's no pagination or anything. That's not good, but at least it will give us the thing we want to do. And here we can pass in something like events.first. That'll do. It'll break if there aren't any events, but we don't care because it will at least have one. Okay, great. So that works for now. And so in here, this is it. This is where I can't remember, but it's like ones that are defined in the component with an @ you access via an @ symbol here. So put event name, and then can we do this? That is not working even the slightest. Wait, what's happening there? Okay, so we are refreshing this. That's not changing at all, but this is the only place that content exists. Is this cached somehow in some way? Do you get any kind of like view in the logs that you're rendering a component? What if I restart the server? Okay, so that works, but it's concerning. I had to update the server for that to work. So let's just put test update, then refresh this. That is not updating. Okay. Wait, what? Oh, is this another thing that I bump into every time and then don't actually go and fix? Okay. I don't actually go and remember, I guess. Conditional rendering generators help. Lifecycle? No. Okay, so it's working, it's rendering. But when I update the content in the template, then it's not updating straight away. So is there some sort of caching or something? Just skimming through the docs just to see if there's anything super obvious that jumps out. None of that seems... Okay, none of that seems to jump out as anything that's happening there. So should update this, and we should see the word test update appear here because I've saved this template. That's not happening, which implies that there's something being cached somewhere. Somehow I haven't installed anything that I'm aware of around caching, but unless there's something built in. Is there like fragment caching in? So let's do /new, then come back and update it. If we were to update the name of the event, does that break it? So if we go event.first. Test names, let's call that event. Sorry, I'm going to do event.update. Name, new name. Update. Oh man. Oh man, I can't remember any valid time zones. Wasn't one of them just the word London? Oh yeah, it was. Cool. Okay, right. There's some sort of caching. So updating. Oh no, because it still doesn't have test update. Wait, what? It should have this string in it. Okay, let's just Google Rails ViewComponent caching. Okay, this is a discussion about it here, or an issue about it here. Keep reading. Let's go right down to the bottom to see what ends up being added. Okay, I'm not 100% sure if anything happens here. This PR disables the compiling components on application initializations if eager load is false. Only precompiled components of eager loading is true. So do we need to change? What? That's only after initialization, so that's happening on the boot anyway. Okay. So why? Oh man, I bet I'm missing something really obvious. Update this like. No, they're supposed to say another. Okay. What happens if we were to change the Ruby file? New method. Not even calling it, just seeing if it breaks the cache. Oh. Interesting. What? What? Okay, what's the... So we changed the view. And it doesn't have much. Okay, so let's take this away now. And this should update because I've changed the thing back. No, wait, what? What is happening? What is happening? I'm missing something fundamental here. I'm definitely... So let's take it right back to the basics where it's just the event name. Update this. Let's try and update this. Yeah, accessing it in another tab is the same result. So from the server, we're getting back the same thing each time. That's not explicitly called out anywhere where it's rendered. Okay. Is it because we're passing the same thing in that we get the same thing out? Like if instead of event dot... So that's events, and then we're passing in event dot first. If we were passing in a different event every time, is that what's cached? How is this cached? Like, is this... We don't even have... Oh man, how does Rails fragment caching work out the box in a local development environment these days? Just use like memcache? Okay, enable disable caching. By default, caching is disabled. Temp caching dev.txt exists. None of that does exist. Okay. And perform caching is false. Cache store null store. What? Oh, I was typing a memcache, but it's memory store. Okay, fine. But wait, none of this is true. So if Rails root join temp caching dev.txt, which doesn't exist. So none of that should be happening. Okay. And then what we're saying is if I were to update this again, so if I just do that, that updates it. Okay, hang on a second. I'm missing something. don't know what this is, but let's take a look here. This is for Trailblazer, so I don't think that's it. Okay. Rails. The docs, I guess? I don't think I had this issue previously. I'm definitely missing something from the docs. I guarantee it. But it can't be produced. So let's say in our view we're actually rendering this. I know that we can pass a collection to this, but what happens if we do oops. We do this. I think this is fine. Like you just okay, so now we've changed that pretty significantly. Great. Okay, so now we're calling it multiple times. So what happens if we change the template now? Just put the word update there. Nothing. So we can, but what happens if we change the view back? So we just do this and then go back to event.first. Do we just get one name on the screen? Sorry, it would be at events.first. Yeah, okay, so it still hasn't updated the view of the component individually. Okay, so these are definitely getting cached. Fair enough. Somewhere. Somehow. Interesting. Why didn't this happen last time? Did it happen last time? Did we just not play around with it enough for this to be a thing? Interesting. Right. Let's because that's not really tenable for development. Like I don't want to. I just want to play with the HTML really quickly. So I'm just skimming back over this again. Rails compute and cache. No. Oh, here we go. Rails explanation. Not related to our changes. Here we go. Something compile cache. This looks like it's more up where we're. The place where it's cached. I found I forgot to do require ViewComponent engine and gem file. I had gem. Ah, amazing. Right. This is not in those docs. Interesting. Okay. So, okay, I think we found it. This is great. It looks like we need that require working in the gem file. Okay, cool. So we can go and fix this actually because I got that from the doc. So we went to getting started. Oh no, this is the storybook thingy. So it's here, guide, getting started. And we said in gem file add gem view component. Right, that's actually really annoying. All right, let's see if we can make a PR for this real quick, because that was fucking annoying. Right, so where are the docs for this? Edit this page on GitHub. Great. Is there a history? Wire engine automatically. Ah, ha ha. That totally didn't work. So someone has actually just removed that from the doc 6 days ago. This is why we haven't bumped into this before. Okay, this is great. But this did not work. Has anyone else got any feedback on this? Right. Okay. All right. Now all right. The joys of open source technology. Now we're dealing with a different issue. This doesn't work for me. Why not? Did we not get the latest version? Oh wait, is this not in the gem yet? Because they haven't pushed a new version, but the docs have been updated. So that got merged 6 days ago. What version is that going to hit in? It's on main. Releases 241.0 17 days ago. Okay, let's raise quick issue here. Not really. So what we're saying basically is if I jumped over to main, this would work. I need to avoid reloading problems on the site as MS 560. Right, to avoid those issues. Okay, let's go and load this up where I am in, and we will just put a little note on there, or we're poking around. Because we're trying to be good citizens of the open source world. I think we are anyway. So this is me logged in. And we're just going to say thanks. A massive thank you for this change. Just a quick heads up that I bumped into an issue, which is that it seems that merging this PR updated the docs. It removed the whatever the required doodad is. Let's go and get that from this. However, the corresponding change hasn't yet made it into the latest version. So when I installed, so when I ran bundle install and ended my first component. It was confused as to why it wasn't then updating. If you would like to see me, okay. Hi both, a massive thank you for this change. Just a quick heads up that I bumped into an issue, which is that it seems that merging this PR updated the docs, i.e. remove the requirement, however the corresponding change into this. And in fact I was confused, it wasn't when updating. And I had to go looking. I don't want to be harsh about it. So when I ran it, I was confused why it wasn't then updating. Not sure how. Not sure I have a suggestion for how situations like that can be mitigated. Mitigated, but could potentially be confusing for newcomers in the gap between yours being merged and a new version being released. I can actually send them a link to me getting confused, which is one of the joys of live streaming this stupid code. Was live streaming. I bumped into this. So if you'd like to if you'd like to see me writing this comment, you can do it. Which is super meta. Okay, so I'm trying to be nice. Hi both, a massive thank you for this change. Just a quick heads up that I wanted to issue, which it seems that merging this PR updated the docs, i.e. removed the required command engine. However, the corresponding change hasn't yet made it into the latest version. So when I ran bundle install and ran my first component, I was confused as to why it wasn't then updating. Not sure I have a suggestion for how situations like this could be mitigated, but could potentially be confusing for newcomers in the gap between PRs being merged and a new version being released. I was live streaming when I bumped into this, so if you'd like to see me writing this comment, which is super meta, you can do here. Cool. Okay. I just want to triple mega ultra check that like I don't want to leave a comment on someone's repo unless we're actually 1,000,000% sure that that's what's wrong, so which we haven't vetted yet. So let's just go and check. We could check this in one of two ways. So we could either go and pull master from the gem file, or we could add our require in. So let's go and do. Let's do the require one, I think. So we can. So it's been removed here. This has been removed. And we can pop it here. Nope, because I've missed that off the end. Great. Okay, and so then we can do bundle install again, hopefully. Kill our server. I don't actually know if we need to do bundle install again. Okay, so yeah, fair enough. Okay, so I think Does that just change the way that it's loaded? I actually don't know, but we will now find out if it does the thing. So now we have update, and now we want to try a new update. Let's try new update, and then refresh. And we have a refresh. Okay, so that's fixed the issue. And we can actually, and the other way we can double check this is, I think if we do bundle open view component. View underscore component. I think we could see in our local version that change hasn't made it in. So we're going to look to see in that PR, which I have now lost. Here we go. So we can see in lib view component RB line 21. Lib view component RB line 20. So we haven't got that change yet. So we're pretty confident that that's what's going on, and we could that'll fix it. Okay, so then we're happy with our comment, which is hopefully helpful and nice. Hello, if either of you ever watch this, and we can leave that comment. Great. Okay, cool. So we're fixed. Okay, great. So we're going to leave. Yeah, I'm going to leave. Oh, crap. I think when you do bundle open, it closes your other thing. So let's do this one. Cool. I wonder if there's a way to get bundle open to not destroy your existing code, VS Code. Not destroy, but like it closes one and opens the other. Great. Okay, so we're up and running. We have an event. Let's do some work to get it started. Okay, so we have an event name. Let's say we want event starts at, we want event ends at, and we want event time zone, because those are the 4 things that we currently store when when we create an event in that application. Here they are, looking lovely. So we've got these new events looking great, and everything's updating wonderfully. Okay, so let's get us starting up and running at the same time, because I saw in the docs when we were looking over it that they had that part about how do I get back to the docs from here? So we just want Rails ViewComponent docs, and there was something in here about JavaScript and CSS. We want the CSS part. And what are we doing? How are we doing CSS at the moment? Did we install all of the? I have no idea. So we have this. So I'm guessing this is a vanilla Rails install. In 7, that's changing somehow. In 6, it's still using Webpack. So I'm assuming we should be. When ViewComponent JavaScript to use Webpack, compile Webpack, add app components to the additional paths array. Let's just go through these docs. Okay, so in here we have additional paths. I wonder if this is going to make it harder to do the Rails 7 thing. We can add this value in there. App components in the Webpack entry file of an app JavaScript. Add an import statement to a helper file, and in the helper file, import the components JavaScript. So we can do import components. And that is going to be in here. Okay. And then an app JavaScript components JApt, app JavaScript components.js. Add this. This is what we added before. Okay. So we saw this in our prototype app. So we've already had this working once. And I assume we just did it by going back through this stuff in the docs. Okay, so I think if we then restart the server. And we could then go in here and put SAS file here. This. And then we can do dot thing. And let's make it super obvious by putting a bit red box around it. Thing. And in here we can then put thing. I think I remember asking last time whether we have the option to do automatic namespacing based on, so like, could we on the output of this SAS file, like this is called event list item component. Does everything get automatically prefixed? Like we could do that, I wonder. So then you never need to worry about like doing BEM syntax or anything like that. I mean, you could actually force the casing to be BEM syntax, but you wouldn't then need to worry about duplication between components because they would automatically get resolved. Maybe that's a thing already. Well, let's just go red boxes. Don't know. I'm super excited about the stuff. I haven't really had a chance to dive into the Rails 7 stuff, but like simplifying the JavaScript pipeline seems like an absolute good goal to aim for, and I'm on board for it. Right, that hasn't worked. Thing border to, okay, so we have a thing. Let's just check that these now have an element around them which is expecting thing. Great. Oh, and do we have like the pack thing in the header? Are we actually importing? Oh, that'd be layouts application, I guess. So we have JavaScript pack tag. Is one of them like JavaScript something else tag? Style sheet pack tag, I think, might be the one we're looking for. Because I just looked in the other app. Data turbo track reload. I'm going to leave that in. I don't actually know what that's doing, but it's got something to do with turbo, so I think we should probably leave it in. Right, let's assume we might need to kick the server back over or something for some reason. So are we getting a style sheet? Yes, but it's a .js file. Script. Oh no, wait, there's script. Wait, hang on. Link Rails style sheet, mini profiler. That one. I don't think we're getting out this. Application. Is it because there isn't one called application? Oh, there is one called application in here. Let's just check whether like we are reaching this code. Oh no, I've zoomed right out. That's not what we want. Nice and big. Okay, so we can at least see in the console whether we are reaching this code. Because it will say we are reaching this code. Let's try it. We are reaching this code. Okay, great. So that's running. It should be importing the components. Or context dash just component. Is the name incorrect? Have I actually named that? Oh, that's got .js on the end. I actually want the style sheet versions. Maybe there's a pause because it's recompiling. Yes, it's found something wrong. Okay, great. Let me go and look in the prototype app where we actually had this running. I'm looking on the other screen. Component.sc. I think everything else is the same because we could have a .js one there as well. Actually, in fact, we could do both. Okay, I think we can do that. I actually have no idea. And so what's the actual error we're getting then? Module build failed. No, assess unexpected. Style sheet. Okay, so I wonder if I've now screwed it up by adding that thing in the layout. So if I do this. So it's still hitting that error. Oh, we're now no longer getting... I'm hitting this code. Okay. I'm just closing some stuff down that I'm trying to get to. So I think we only need this open. And this, I think. So we're not hitting here. So import components. You're missing something obvious from here. We do that really quickly. I just want to check what's actually breaking. Yeah, so it's something when we try and import components. And if we, again, just try and work out exactly which line is hitting a problem. Yep, so we're hitting that. So it's definitely one of these two. I think it's this one here. I'm just comparing it to the one that we had running in the prototype app because that worked. But from the looks of it, they are identical. So now if we do this, I think we're getting our error. Seems fine. Let's just import a blank version of this and see if that compiles. Is it the contents of that files that's freaking it out? Yeah, okay, so it's the content of this. Why is that freaking it out? Is it not expecting it to come in as a SAS file? Do we actually have to adjust something? In what that's expecting? Ah, does it have to go in after the others? What happens if it goes in down here? And let's put the contents of it back as well. Save all of these and refresh this again. Sorry, I'm just looking for where the error is that we're seeing here. Ah, great. It's the order. Okay. Good process of elimination. Something in, I'm assuming Rails.start. I actually have no idea what the hell's going on in Rails.start. Okay, so we can then strip this out. This works, but must be listed after this. Do we want to put that in those docs? Is that a worthwhile? Where did we just read those docs? Yeah. Is it obvious to people that they should go after Rails.start? So for example, if I put it here, maybe it's active storage that's doing something to it. If I put it here, does it work? Okay, and so if we just move it there, I'm assuming it should now fail. Okay, it doesn't fail. Okay, interesting. Wait, so, but didn't I have it here before? Wait, how did I, wait, what? Okay, let's kick the server over. Let's restart the server and try that again. That's totally working. But I'm not 100% sure what just happened there. Because I feel like that shouldn't have to go after those. You should, like, do you not import all of your stuff and then run the stuff at the end? But I genuinely, was that just, wait, was it just Webpack taking ages? Like, is that what just happened? Okay, if that is the case, I'm really looking forward to when Webpack has gone. Okay, it seems to be working. So now if we just change this to like blue, is that an instant change? Great. Okay, no idea. No idea. I think something Webpack. Very frustrating. Okay, great. So now that we've got these kind of the JavaScript and the Sass living next to the components, what we were thinking about in the prototype, I think, was this idea of you can now have a mixture of generic components living inside other components. So we might have like a header component, I would guess, or I actually don't know how specific we want to get, that would have some styling, but then we could also style ours specific. So instead of like, let's say we do in here, like this is maybe like a section like that. And within a section, I think you can then have an H1, because that's, I think, like semantically you can do that. But rather than having class H1 or whatever it is, because sort of I think the tailwind thing would be to sort of start that up. But I think what we could do here, I think, is like, can we have then render header component dot new, and then you have like level H1? That thing? I'm just making that up. And then this would be the content it got. Yeah, it'd be really handy. I wonder if there's like anything. I guess examples or something. Okay, this is interesting. Like asking people's feedback. These people are all using it in their apps, which is great. I'd love to know if any of these apps are open source, so we can kind of go and see them using it in anger. And by in anger, I mean like for realsies. I don't mean in a bad way. I do really like these discussion things in GitHub. Like everything used to be an issue, which I just think wasn't the appropriate place for stuff like that. This is just a generic conversation. I'm actually visually skimming for links to GitHub repos that don't look like test case studies. I might probably missed some now. Oh my god! Wow, people are really providing. Oh, maybe I do. Oh, okay. Oh man, I really feel like I should read this. There's a lot. Okay. Being able to reply to these. Okay, great. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of move on and just crack on and assume I'm doing things right or wrong. Not sure it really matters at this point because it's so early, but like I'd be interested to know how granular people are getting, if there are any implications to that, like practical performance, all that fun stuff. So we don't have a header component, so this can go for now. Although I actually think it probably can be an H1 that can go back. Okay. And this starts to, oh, that can stay just to remind me that's there. This then starts to increase the pressure for me to actually do the design live stream that I wanted to do, because we don't actually know what we're going to have these look like yet. But these are getting spat out, which is great. But we are, I don't know about but we are using these in a loop within our view. And one of the things I also wanted to look at was this idea of, could we have a component that wraps these? So this is an event list item. So again, we're lifting straight from our prototype here. Let's make a new one in here, and it's event list. What we called it previously? I wasn't overly enamored with the name. Yeah, it was event list. Okay, so let's have this. So we didn't get a chance to do this with the prototype because we never had any active record objects in here. So I think this is sort of what we're looking for. It's going to be admin events, event list component. This can take events as events, I guess. Then in here, so this is where we're doing all this by hand. I think we can go back to the docs for this, collections. Like Rails partials, it's possible to render a collection with ViewComponent using with collection. Product component with collection. By default, the component name is used to define the parameter passed into the component from the collection with item. So this, I think, would be with collection parameter int. So I'm just sort of following the docs here. So, okay. And it was at event.name. Product component. Oh, I see. So there is no. No, okay. So at item. So then in here, this is then div. Oh, it'll be interesting to see. I actually didn't check to see if there was any namespacing for that. Let's just assume there isn't any namespacing on the CSS classes. So let's assume that will be a blue box and it'll be shared from the other one. But in here, so we don't have to do any looping, and we just get at event.name. So do we get two lists? And this one can be called list component. And each one will have list component in front of it. And this one can be called list item component. So we should see the difference. And then here we can do this. We're gonna admin list component. I actually didn't check this, but is it at events? Yeah, okay, so we should end up with two lists. Have I done that correctly? No. Missing keyword event. Oh, I see. So is the with collection parameter item. So you don't need this because it's got with collection parameter on it. Is that right? Right keyword event. So is there no keyword on the initializer of the other one either? Item and notice. List component with parameter event. What's the error I'm getting? Initialize event. Wrong number of arguments. Given 1. Expected 0. Keyword event. We have, so this is event list component with event, initialize event. Okay, I think I'm missing something here. Component with collection parameter. Amendment events, event list component, new events. Events is a thing because it's there. Oh, wait, is that plural there? No. Use with collection parameter to change the name of the collection parameter. With collection parameter item. With collection parameter event. Initialize item. Initialize event. So does that change that this should be event like that? Yes. Okay, right. So then that's list item component, list component event. Okay. Event.name. What? The list component. I think I'm not really understanding what with collection parameter should do. So, like Rails parcels, it's possible to render a collection with view components using with collection. Product component with collection. By default, the component name is used to define the parameter passed into it. Okay. Product component item.name. ViewComponent defines a counter variable matching the parameter names. Product component. You see here, iteration. Yeah, so it seems to indicate that it's going to handle the like looping over these for us. So how am I getting... What is this? List component event. Like... What is that? Oh, that's the collection. So, okay, so that is events plural, not event. But then we're not iterating over it. So if that's events... I still have to loop over it myself? I'm totally... Render partial collect. Yeah, so I sort of pass the collection through and it will then render one for each of them. But that doesn't seem to be what's happening here. I'm passing it a collection. Like events. And it's passing that collection through, but it's not then trying to render multiple. I don't think this is a huge issue because I can always just loop over it myself. By default, the component names with collection parameters. Parameter. Okay, so with collection products. And product just spits out an LI, for example. Okay. So this is a collection of products, and then passing it in. At some point, it's saying it will loop over that for us. So that is event, 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 and event. It's not plural. So how are we getting a collection in here? Because we're not calling it correctly here? Oh, it's because we're not calling it correctly here. Right, we're not calling with collection because I'm an idiot. Right, I've missed the whole fucking point of the thing right from the start. Sorry, that's totally... It's not .new, it's .with collection. And then it is at events, and it's the with collection. It's right. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Great. So now we have list component. Okay. Excellent. 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 Okay. Sorry about that. Cool. So here we can then... So I'm actually not sure which of these you're supposed to use then, because it's sort of easier to understand for me as a non-regular user, like just this, because I'm sort of seeing, okay, well, I get which event is being passed into this individually. So this would actually be... Or do I see, am I just then doing this? Am I supposed to be doing that, in fact? And it's that I get out, and then I don't need to worry about that and can do this stuff in there. Is that the actual goal? Right, that might actually make more sense. So then I can do whatever I need to do up here. So here is a list of events. That is event list component that then uses event list item, but you don't have to worry here about worrying about event list item yourself. You don't need to worry about the wrapping here. That's happened in the component itself. Here's a list of events. No. No. Okay, I'm wrong. These are coming out one per. If you want the wrapper, you don't want to do that. You would still use this in here. That would actually be a list item component with collection. So yeah, I actually don't know how hugely helpful that is. This would get moved out to here. I think. Just kind of playing around with this now. Yeah. All this is doing is allowing it to accept with collection. And here. This is all good. Okay, fine. This is now events. Plural. Events. This is with collection events. That can go. Is that right? Have I covered everything there? In fact, render document any partial. What did I miss? Oh, whoops. Change the view. Right, so this is then event. But that's just new events. Events. This right? Is this? I don't know if you're really sure what the difference is. I've just changed a bunch of code and ended up with something that's not that different from where I started. So I don't actually know how helpful that with collection really is. Because so now in event list component, I'm doing this. I guess it's saving me the work of looping over that myself. Unless you get some count stuff. Interesting. That one I bet is where any value or lack of value comes in with usage. You probably figure out like, oh, actually this is really helpful. Like the iteration thing is probably helpful. Okay, cool. So that's all working. We have ViewComponent up and running. So we have a list of events. We've got access control over it. Not a million miles of having something pretty like vaguely useful. Let's go over to like that Notion stuff that we made. And see if we can get a plan together for actually building this out. Some of the music from this YouTube free library is sounds like Final Fantasy VII playing in the background. Okay, so this is the Notion stuff that we've made where I've got a few bits and bobs going on. The admin can create an event. That is now all done, actually. These aren't very well written, but you get the gist. So that is actually completed. Assign organization and control panel. Yeah, that actually happened as well. That's the other one that's done. So that can go. This is no like. So this is the MVP list that we made that was supposed to get written up. User can register for an account. Admin can see list of events. So that's the one that we're sort of working on now. So if we do turn into page in planning, So I guess we then do admin could administrate event, which is like adding CRUD stuff to, what do I do? Tenant page in planning. This one, tenant page in planning. Yeah. In planning, we should now have these. So admin can see list of events is sort of working. That's sort of what this is. Particularly not looking very nice, but it gets the gist across. Then we want to say admin can administrate events. So we haven't got like a CRUD for these, which we can add in. So we're gonna add some basics for that now, can't we? So let's do some. Let's take some stuff out here. Take out that. We should take that out now that it works. We don't really need that here specifically for now. That can all stay. That can stay and get committed separately. That can stay. And I don't think we ended up needing this, did we? No. Config spec. So we don't have anything to test in there yet. It's not really doing anything other than rendering some stuff out. Do you need to test that? Like, is that? I would assume it's a bit like React, where you just kind of test if there's any logic in it. If it's just, hey, please show this thing, that's sort of testing what it's actually like. There's no real point in testing that. Okay, so let's add in this and this. We can write this up later. So allow Webpack to render CSS files component. These can then be stored alongside the .rb and .html.erb files for each component. And not only that, it's actually not, it's SCSS and JS. I'll come back and do commit messages later. This definitely needs committing. So add require in gem file for view component. This is needed for now, but can be removed when. Oh no! Now we've got to go and find. Oh no! Oh no! So in here, can I find issue of merged with it? So we pull request closed. It was recent. It was really recent. It was like 9 days ago or something. 6 days ago. Require engine automatically. This is needed for now, but can be removed when has been released. And that can actually get fixed up into adding the gem. Fix this up into adding gem. Great, and then we are just adding components. I think all these can go. Don't really want to commit that particularly because it's not got any pagination. Okay, so we're not really finished with this one, are we? So admin can see list of events. So what do we actually need? We need ability to paginate the events. Pretty much it. Formatting, do we want to care about that at this point? I don't know if we do. Let's maybe do some like, maybe I think those dates nice. I think pagination is all we really give a damn about at this stage. Like, we're not trying to make it look nice at this point. We're just trying to get it working. That can be a tick box for that one. Which means we can probably do that before we commit the view components. Actually, we can, and then we can move that to this, make this whole thing a PR to get these listed and move navigating through. I've used Kaminari in the past for this as a gem. I'm assuming we can sort of do that here. Let's go to Ruby Toolbox and just see if that is still the go-to thing. We want to do pagination. There's a category for this. Will paginate. No release in over a year for Kaminari, so either it's sort of quote unquote finished, or it has been abandoned. I always had no performance issue with or anything like that. So Pagey looks like the newest one. Agnostic pagination in plain Ruby. It does it all better. Oh, okay, like you have my interest. Let's go and take a look at what it's doing better. I've never had an issue with Kaminari particularly, but 40 times faster. Okay, I can buy into that. Iterations per second. 36 times lighter. 35 times simpler. Okay. I think pretty compelling. That's a pretty compelling start to a README, I've got to say. It does it all better. It works with any environment. It works with any collection. It supports all kinds of pagination. It supports all kinds of CSS frameworks. It supports faster client-side rendering. 100% test coverage. Easy to use. They're really selling this to me, I have to say. Like, I don't know if it's just the name of the headings or anything. It's like, okay, I just don't think it would, like, what's the API to add this to a collection in a like controller or something? So it is wrap your collections with Pagey in your actions. Okay, is it render the navigation bar in your views? Even if we wanted to swap out, that doesn't seem overly... You do end up doing this all over the place, but as long as the API is consistent, you can just swap them out. Console, I don't know what... app. Wait, why do you get at Pagey and the records back? What is the difference? If your app renders the view server side, include the front end application in Rails. Render the navigation links in some views. All right, I'm kind of intrigued by this. Okay, let's try. Let's do it. Let's use this one. Use gem Pagey. So that now exists. Oops. Just going to commit those, install EGGem. Okay, let's keep going with the docs. Add the page.rb configuration file to your app configuration. Lots of stuff in there. All right. Config initializes page.rb and all this stuff, which I can then do later. So let's commit that as well. I'm not doing anything with it yet, but it's there. Add default page config file. Okay. Include the backend in some controller, e.g. application controller. Yeah, okay, we're not going to use 2 of these libraries, I can't imagine. So yeah, let's chuck it in application controller then. Okay, that and works, I hope. Okay, so let's keep going. Use the pagey method in some action at pagey at records. Right, so here we want to do this in the we want to do this in the, sorry, I'm just looking at the thing. In the controller that we would just in. So here we are returning all events for an organization, but we actually want to do this by the looks of things. I don't want records, I want events. Okay. Render the pagination. Option 8. If your app renders the view server side, yes. Include the front end in some helper. Application helper. Okay. Let's do this part first. And we will put, well, add G helper and views, and these are all these web commits are just so that I can help shape making a PR out of this later. I'm just trying to commit as I go because we didn't used to do that on the live stream, and then I would get confused as to what I needed to commit. So render the navigation links in some view. Pagey nav pagey. All with an easy customizable template. I like the idea of having an easy customizable template. Do I have to have set the template up? Let's give this one a try first. And that is going to appear here. So I think we can go take a look. But we have to set the pagination to like 1 because otherwise this won't paginate. So does this give us an error at all? Yes, okay, no partial. So So that's fine because it didn't tell us. Loads of stuff, loads of stuff. Let's just briefly go into our config file that we added and set this real quick to 1, just so that we're guaranteed to see it. And then we can update in the view rather than using the custom one. Let's just go to the one where it obviously has some helper method that it can use. So we can hopefully comment that out, use this, and I think this one will hopefully use its own code. Something is happening. Previous, next. Okay, so I need the initializer to kick in, don't we? So we want this. We'll get restarted. Oh, no. Oh, have I frozen it and then tried to modify it? Very exciting. Paginatable things. And this is still our view components, which is very exciting. Why is the H1 the starts at? Didn't I put the H1 as the... I cock that up? So that we list item component and you get that one. Yes, I should have put that one in there and that one is... That makes a bit more sense. So this new name, new event, other time zone. Amazing. And how would we get that partial to work? I'm interested to see what's in there. This is now just my curiosity. How might we actually see what was in here? Well config, that's all good. Items per page, great. Controlling page links, that all seems fine. Skipping page links, yep. Customizing the series, passing the page number, customizing the page param. Page uses the page param variable. It's default, it says page equals page, hence we'll get the page, page 3. Which is the same as Kaminari, so that I'm tempted to leave it like that because then it makes it easier to jump if we do have any issues. Customizing the link attributes. Well, that's cool. Okay, cool. Customizing the params, customizing the URL, enabling fancy routes. As long as we have a specific alternative that supports the fancy routes, i.e. your route page that produces that instead of that. Page URL 4 does that. Notice that this overridden method is quite slower than the original because it passes through their Rails helpers. However, that gets mitigated by the internal use of PageLink proc, which calls the method only once, even in the presence of many pages. Fine. I don't never really have an issue with passing page equals. Blah, blah, blah. CSS, overriding methods. I was just looking to see where that template was. Unlike other gems, Pagey does not decide for you that the nav of a single page of results must not be rendered, or you may want it rendered, or maybe you don't. If you don't, wrap it in a condition and use the Pagey nav only if pages is true. For example, Pagey nav if it's greater than 1, skipping page 1 param. By default, Pagey generates all the link pages, including the page param. If you want to remove page param, add the trim extra. And what's it doing by default? it's not adding it. Okay. Oh, is the idea that it trims off one? Oh no, that's fine. Like if you, as long as the original URL doesn't have it, if you then skip to page 2 and skip back to page 1, it seems fine that page 1 hangs around. This all seems fine. Like genuinely, it seems like it's got all the stuff that Kaminari does, plus a bunch of performance upgrade stuff. Seems cool. Oh, here we go. Here's the using templates. So that's the kind of thing. Da, 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 da. Page API front end. Okay, there's loads of stuff here. Okay, great. We're just going to keep all that. That's all fun and happy, and we like it. And the only thing we are going to add in is if we can then swap out the code we did add. So here we can take out whatever the default is that will do for now. And we can here take out this, but it is if pg.pages, I'm assuming, greater than 1. And presumably we could wrap that in a component. Just pass in pagey. So, oops. Yeah, so now if we restart the server, because we've updated that config, pages should just not show on here. Shouldn't need that. But if we were to go over whatever the default value is, it should appear. Great. Okay, so now that we have that, we can add this. And the reason we're now happy is this is now scoping that query. So if we added 1 million events, we're not going to call 1 million things. So we can whip. Retrieve organization events controller. We then want to add in our components without rendering them. Actually, no, this one we do want to render. Well, class thing can go. Let's do all of this actually. Go. And that doesn't need to be thing. So that can go in there. There. Sorry, I'm just working out what's going in the commit. That one's going in because it's within another component. That one. So whip commit create initial components for events in admin. And then here we are going to do render for events in admin. So we can come back and tidy these up. And we don't need to add the test yet because there's nothing in there. So we can leave the template lying around in case we want to test something. But we're not doing anything yet. So what difference does it make? Cool. So we have pagination, which means we can go and tick our Notion box. Boom. And then we just need to tidy that up, I think. Great. Okay, that can stick around. Tidy that PR up. Right, what's next? Admin can administrate event. So how much do we want to tidy this up before turning this into a PR? Probably not a huge amount. I'm sort of happy to leave this looking really rough, but I think I'm gonna end this stream here because we've been going a little while. But sort of pick up here on the administration side, because this one's pretty straightforward. This is just adding CRUDs to to the admin UI, and then adding a route for us to have an event page, so we can just get all of the bare bones framework up of like, you can create an event, modify its name and its required fields, that will then create a public URL that you can access. And that sort of gives us all of the framework we need to, you then have like the basics of like, that would be where your like purchase buy now button would go, and to kick off your order journey to register for the event. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not a bad place to leave it, and we can tidy that up and create a PR. Sorry. Okay, cool. So really good. We did some contributions to open source, which is pretty exciting. By commenting on a PR and hopefully helping people know that we bumped into an issue. Hopefully that was helpful. I have no idea. And we thank you to Tim for dropping in the chat, and for anyone who is watching these on YouTube later, hopefully these are useful. Let me know in either by leaving a comment, or you can find my contact details in the description on the YouTube videos. Yeah, have a wonderful week. I'm gonna again try and hopefully do another stream. I'm starting to see progress in this. I'm really keen to just keep going, and either a design stream or another coding stream. But as usual, I'm not committing to anything. We'll just see how we get on. Have a wonderful week, and see you all next week.